One more day of nice weather before we get back into a stormy pattern with rain, storms, and snow. Let's talk about it in this Hump Day edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning, I'm Texas Storm Chasers Buddy-in-Chief David Reimer. It is Wednesday, the 6th of November, 2024. We're looking at pretty nice weather across the state today as the remnants of yesterday's cold front continue to settle in, but that will be short-lived. We're going to become more active beginning, well, maybe late tonight. Definitely going to be active tomorrow, Friday into Saturday morning. A lot of precipitation on the way as a slow-moving upper-level low arrives from the southwestern United States. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's get through the fire weather outlook, which today the potential will be moderate to high in the fire danger rating department from the Texas A&M Forest Service, especially across the Permian Basin, the Trans-Pecos, Big Bend regions of southwest Texas. And then as we go into tomorrow and Friday, and probably Saturday as well, we are anticipating things to be relatively calm as moisture values and precipitation chances increase across the state. Now, let's talk about Hurricane Raphael. Is become a hurricane overnight and is about to become a major hurricane as it approaches landfall on the western tip of Cuba this morning. After making landfall later today, we anticipate Raphael will move into the Gulf of Mexico as a hurricane tomorrow, moving west-northwest. Typically, on this path, which by early Monday could be off the coast of Texas to Louisiana, we would be highly concerned and be screaming all sorts of dooms. But the good news is we really don't expect issues from Raphael, even if it does approach areas off the Texas coast, because of the system we're anticipating tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, which will, in all likelihood, shred Raphael to bits as it approaches the coast. And that in conjunction with the fact it's November and our sea surface temperatures and oceanic heat content is much lower than it was several weeks to, well, a month or two ago, all lead to high confidence that if we do have a tropical cyclone attempt to approach our coastline early next week, it is going to do so as it's pretty much being eviscerated. So we'll have to watch for some moisture from it, but in terms of impacts from, strong winds, storm surge, not looking likely, which is good. Okay. What is looking likely is as we head into tomorrow evening, Thursday night, and Friday morning, the potential for strong to, at times, severe thunderstorm chances returning to portions of the state. The Storm Prediction Center highlighting the potential for isolated severe thunderstorms, across portions of the Edwards Plateau, Hill Country, Central Texas, Western North Texas, Concho Valley, Big Country, Permian Basin, Eastern Trans-Pecos, parts of West Texas, into the eastern sections of the Big Bend. A small corridor of comparatively higher chances for a few supercell thunderstorms, which could have some larger hail, strong winds, maybe a brief tornado tomorrow night, in the Big Country, the Concho Valley, and the eastern Permian Basin. So the good news is here, the next few days, we're not looking at a super impressive severe weather setup. We're going to have a lot of rain. We're going to have beneficial rains. We're going to have plenty of storms, and some of them will have hail, but we're not looking at a big tornado or wind situation. Could we rule either out? In terms of isolated hazards, no. But at this point, this does not look like a big severe weather setup. As we go into Friday morning, Friday afternoon, through maybe about dinner time Friday, the potential for isolated severe storms with hail, maybe a few strong wind gusts, maybe a spin-up tornado, could exist in the Edwards Plateau, Hill Country, South Central Texas, Central Texas, Eastern Concho Valley, Eastern Big Country, and portions of North Texas. Overall, though, we are not expecting a widespread severe weather threat at this time. Let's take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model for today, tonight, into Thursday. Today, it's going to be mostly quiet across the state. We'll see increasing cloud cover, Panhandle, West Texas, and then as we get into late tonight, early tomorrow morning, snow will begin falling across the northwestern and far western portions of the Panhandle of Texas. A winter storm watch in effect for Dalhart County up in the northwestern Panhandle, the Dalhart region. We are anticipating precipitation to become more widespread on Thursday across the western half of the state. Much of that will be in the form of liquid rain and or storms, but snow will remain possible across the northwestern and western portions of the Panhandle. That rain-snow line may fluctuate back west and east at times. You can see this model is trying to bring the snow line farther east into the Panhandle as we go into Thursday night and Friday morning. That's possible, and we'll have to monitor that for the potential of impactful accumulations of snow. Otherwise, tomorrow is going to be a wet and cloudy day across probably about the western half of the state, especially along and west of Interstate 35, with rain chances pushing closer to 35 by Friday morning. Here's the longer range American weather model. You can see it brings rain and storms to like the eastern half of the state. In terms of scattered showers and storms, maybe a line moving from west to east Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Friday night, exiting Texas Saturday morning. There is the potential we could still see scattered showers, maybe a few storms continue across southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, the Piney Woods of East Texas Saturday morning, maybe into Saturday afternoon. That's a bit of an unknown at this point. You can see this model keeps Raphael off the Louisiana coast, but if it does make it farther west by Sunday and Monday, we may see enough moisture get advected northward towards the upper Texas Gulf Coast. We may see some scattered showers. Otherwise, a majority of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are expected to be precipitation-free and decent weather across the state of Texas, excluding the two possibilities that one, maybe a few showers continuing eastern quarter of Texas Saturday morning, and two, if we have to deal with a little bit of moisture from Raphael. Otherwise, most of Texas will be rain-free as we go through a majority of the weekend and the first half of next week. We may end up dealing with a cold front and maybe some precipitation chances as we get into Wednesday next week. All right, here are the forecast snow totals so far. This is the current snow forecast for the Texas Panhandle, where we are expecting a majority, if not any of the snow chances to be this weekend. Sorry, North Texas, Central Texas, Hill Country, no snow for you. We note this does have the potential to increase substantially. There's going to be a very sharp gradient here. New Mexico, Colorado, they're going to get clobbered with this winter storm. Parts of New Mexico and Colorado will be measuring this in terms of feet. For us, this has the potential. Areas northwest of Dalhart specifically, there may end up being over half a foot of snow by the time you get up to the New Mexico state line northwest of Dalhart, while Dalhart itself may be lucky to get an inch of snow. So what, that's a 20, 30 mile gradient in terms of getting little snow to over half a foot. But there is the potential that if we come in a little colder, we are going to have to shift some of those higher snow totals into the far western portions of the Panhandle. So again, most of the Panhandle not going to have issues with a impactful winter storm, but the far western portions of the Panhandle up toward Boise City, Oklahoma, yeah, y'all might end up having a pretty good snowstorm out of this. We're just going to have to wait and see. Maybe we can have some thunder snow. Don't you like thunder snow? Thunder snow. Okay. Excluding the snow chances, let's talk about what's going to be far more widespread. That's going to be the rain chance. Now, we're looking at another good beneficial round of rain coming to the state over the next several days, specifically tomorrow, Friday, and a bit into Saturday. Across the state, the heaviest rains in the 1 to 3 inch range, the Panhandle, Northwest Texas, West Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, the Eastern Permian Basin, Texoma, and Western North Texas. We note the potential for 2 to 4 inches of rain may exist across southwestern Oklahoma, Northwest Texas, the Eastern Panhandle. As always, there's going to be winners and losers in this game. We're looking at generally about 1/4 to 1.5 inches of rain. DFW Metroplex, Arklatex, Northeast Texas, East Texas, the Brazos Valley, Central Texas, the Hill Country, into the southeastern Concho Valley and the northern Edwards Plateau. At this point, maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain up to locally 1/2 an inch of rain. Southeast Texas, back along in west on Interstate 10 towards San Antonio, and then along the north of pretty much a line to Eagle Pass. So the losers in the precip department with this system, the Borderland, the Big Bend, the Trans-Pecos, and really the southern quarter of Texas, the Rio Grande Plains, Rio Grande Valley, coastal Bend, South Texas, and a decent chunk of the coastal plains not looking likely to see appreciable precipitation with this upcoming system. All right, let's talk about temperatures. Today's highs, cold if you're in the Panhandle, 40s and 50s. We're looking at 70s and 80s elsewhere across the state, so warmer than yesterday. As we go into tomorrow, we're looking at highs, 30s and 40s in the Panhandle, 40s and 50s in West Texas, 60s Permian Basin, Big Country, Northwest Texas, Western Texoma, the borderland, out in El Paso. We're looking at 70s to 80s, maybe even low 90s. Southeastern half of the state, again, hottest temperatures being in the 90s down in deep South Texas, about 80 San Antonio, Austin. We're looking at about 70 in DFW, 85 in Houston. Let's go into Friday. You can see things don't really change all that much. We're going to have the coldest temperatures up in the northwestern Panhandle in the 30s, especially if we have a bit of a snowpack. We're going to have temperatures in the 90s, deep South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley. As we get into Saturday, we are going to be colder. Well, colder being a poor choice of words. We're going to be less toasty across the southern portions of the state, back down into the upper 70s, about 80 in the Rio Grande Valley. Otherwise, we're looking at highs mostly in the 60s to middle 70s across Texas, still in the 50s in the Panhandle. And then as we get into Sunday, we're going to begin a warm-up that will continue through the middle half of next week, with highs returning into the 60s, 70s, and 80s across most of the state. So, yeah, we are going to have some active weather over the next few days. Storms and rain and snow galore. Yippity-doo, yippity-yay. It is November after all. Hey, hey. All right, so that'll be it for your Texas Weather Roundup on this Wednesday. As always, you can get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radar, daily Texas weather roundups, and more in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. And, of course, you can find us on the web, texasstormchasers.com. Thank you to everybody watching this video on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to get notified when we have new weather videos or live severe weather coverage. And of course, we appreciate your feedback. Thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever floats your boat today. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great day. God bless.